here to say Lymington Community Centre Prizewinner book launch? I was here. So we're here to celebrate a big milestone in Lynn's life, Lynn's writing career, the Lymington launch of the novel Prizewinner. You're going to hear this evening from the area's great literary minds. I'm sure they like to be described as that. And you're also going to hear from actor Simon Callow, who's going to read some sections of the book on video. I could lie and say it was a live link up, couldn't I? But no one's going to fall for that. What people are probably going to talk about is how impressive Lynn is in the adversity that she's faced in writing the book, etc. But that's no reason to buy the book. Prizewinner is a bloody good book in its own right. Which who actually owns the book already? Oh, you're not going to. Who wants more copies of the book? Okay. So my name's Tim Coe. Lynn found me on Twitter. When? A year ago?
Gosh, about a year ago.
Maybe, yeah, a year ago.
Just over a year ago.
Yeah, so I should found Andrew on Twitter. He's also got South African descent. Does anyone else know me through Twitter? Probably not. But yeah, social media does have its good sides. So Lynn found me and we started working together. She needed help with the marketing, which I was all too happy to be of assistance with. So just a quick bit of background about what we've been doing, because it's all very well writing a book, and you need to promote the book. First thing we did was we got some professional photographs done of Lynn. Then we started using them in her marketing pieces. So most of you would have seen that, the invite for today or this evening. Then this is the previous one. This is what we used for the London book launch. Doesn't it look great? Stuck for a Christmas present. This is up in the London, the
hospital, Royal Free Hospital.
Yeah, we use this in London, so the nurses can push Lynn's books and sell them. Recently, Lynn was on BBC Radio Solent, so this is the thumbnail that we used for the video there. This was one of the first items we made, postcard. And we've got a load of these here this evening. We've just reprinted these. These are actually bookmarks. Work really well as a flyer and a bookmark, so they're good. I like those. Does that mean anything to anybody?
Yes.
Yes, great. The Diamond Drama Diaries. We did actually, before it was called Prizewinner, we did actually play with the idea of calling it Shine Like a Diamond,
That's
the
right.
book,
Yeah.
didn't we?
Yeah.
So that can be that's the title of Lynn's blog, which can be found on our website. So just up there, Diamond Drama Diary. So these are the backgrounds we're going to be using on various emails that go out that give updates on Lynn's hectic life in the world of being an international author, etc. And the latest thing we worked on is a postcard. We just ordered 1,000 of these yesterday.
Yes.
Which I've never ordered 1,000 of anything, I don't think, especially not books. But 1,000 of these. Waterstones in Lymington have actually agreed to promote Lynn's book, which I think is quite cool. So they will be, we have a stack of those, and I actually had to persuade Lynn to go for 1,000, not 500. He said, look, we just get 20 stacks of 50, we only need 20 locations around Lymington that will take a postcard. So, and straight away you're up to 1,000, so expect to see those all around town. They're arriving next week, aren't they?
Yeah.
Those postcards. I ordered a few days ago, as I said. And I'm sure you've all, some of you are aware of this recent bit of publicity. 67 plate Vauxhall Mockers for $15,995. It's a damn good deal. Oh, sorry, with that bit next to it. So yeah, a bit of publicity there. That is the current edition of Lymington Times, so still available. So anyway, working with Lynn, she never seems to stop. As soon as we've made one piece, she wants something else. Very demanding, as you can see from that stuff we've all got through. I mean, things like these Corex boards, we made all these. There's one over there, it's got readers' reviews. These roller banners, I didn't do that one, but that one is obviously the same design as that. We thought that looked pretty good. So, first speaker this evening is Lynn's husband. This is a picture of them in South Africa a couple of years ago at a lion park reserve. The little cub there is what, 3 months old?
3 months old.
Yeah. So you're out there doing some research for the book, weren't you?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you give a warm welcome, please, to Carol Steblecki.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you, Tim, for the introduction. I'm just going to speak a little bit about Lynn's condition, which is scleroderma, which some of you, I think, know a little bit about. To put it into context, scleroderma is a rare disease that affects 1 in 10,000 of the population, and there are about 8,000 patients with scleroderma in the United Kingdom. Just 2,000 of those are actually treated at the Royal Free Hospital in London, where my wife is one of them. Out of that family of scleroderma patients, some patients have got the mild form of the disease, and some have a very severe form of scleroderma. And Lynn, 15 years ago, was very much at the severe end of the spectrum. This sort of scleroderma, unfortunately, in the past was often a lethal disease, affecting the heart, lungs, and kidneys. But with modern treatments, they are now able to do better to treat the disease. Lynn battled through the early stages and really has moved on to live with scleroderma, having proved the disease wrong. I think over the years, I've learned how strong my wife is. Having to battle with the ongoing challenges of which scleroderma produces, not just on the outside, but also on the inside. I think it's a testament of her own character and fortitude. An ability she has gone on, been one of the many people who say they're going to write a book, and she actually has written a book. And I'd just like to say, I am so very proud of her and beaming with pride. I think what's amazing is she has been able to draw on her own life experiences and put together a fabulous novel, a romantic thriller set in Africa. And many people have asked me if I'm one of the characters in Lynn's book, but I'm not going to spoil your fun, but instead urge you all to buy a copy, as a portion of the sales from the book will go to 2 deserving charities, SR UK and the Charles Wolfton Centre for Reconstructive Surgery, to help those from the armed forces and those who suffer the effects of scleroderma. So thank you all for coming once again, and if you could just put your hands together to applaud Lynn.
Lynn is because I've written a book as well, so I understand the uphill struggle it can be. About 4 years ago, I finished. I was just in the later stages of finishing. Well, there you go, finishing that. Writing it. Who's written and published a book in here? Right, 4 of us. Okay. Writing it's about half the thing, right? I found it once you've written it, you've got to check for spelling errors, and and grammar, and you can't see your own. But you know what it's like. You write something and you read and you check it. You can't see your own errors, can you? Seem to read straight through them. So getting other people to do that. There's the formatting, laying it out. There's a cover design, the back, the front, the spine. Getting it all to work. Getting endorsements, the forward. Writing what goes on the back. I found that one of the hardest parts. Writing what goes on the back, because that sells the book. You generally pick a book up and read the back, don't you? You don't buy it. Never judge a book by a cover. We all do, don't we? So there's a lot to do there. So massive. Hi, come on in. That's all right. And then there's printing it. You need to find the printer. You don't want to pay too much. You don't want to pay too little. We saw what happened with one printer, didn't we?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. You've got a video later which demonstrates one of the problems that if you don't get it right, what can happen with a book. Which not just wastes money, just wastes time as well. And you probably finished it 4, 5, 6 months ago, and you want the thing out there. So our next speaker is Brendan McCusker. Said that correctly this time, I think. Brendan is he heads up Lynn's autobiography and creative writing class, which is partly what triggered you to write your book,
Correct.
wasn't it? Yeah. Brendan, can we welcome you up, please?
I've got to use some notes.
Did you want this one?
No, it's all right. So, welcome to this local book launch of Prizewinner. This is the first autobiographical novel written by Lynn Steblecki. I've known Lynn for several years. I don't know exactly how long, but
7, 8 years
seven.
now.
Really? Okay. Ever since she's been attending creative writing and autobiographical courses for adults here at Lymington Community Centre. Page 2. Over the years, many students have had their creative writing published in national magazines and newspapers, writing competitions, and they've been winning prizes and cheques and recognition for their work. In autobiography writing, at least 20 students, like Lynn, have completed their life stories and got them published, both here in Lymington and also in Romsey. Lynn has been studying both creative writing and autobiography for several years. Now it gets controversial. I'm sure that Lynn would agree that she is not the best writer in the class.
That's TV thinking.
Sorry.
I recognise it.
Yeah, I'm sure Lynn would agree. She's not the best writer in the class. There are many other students, some are here tonight actually, who are better writers, but some of them are not published yet. Lynn, however, has huge determination, a lot of passion for her work, and a drive to succeed. And she listens in class, and she learns a lot in class, and she improves. When Lynn started writing, she often felt like giving up. This did not come easily to her. And students often say to me, "Oh, Brendan, what's the point? Brendan, I can't do this. Brendan, it's too hard." I get that all the time. But students often help each other. Not always, but they often help each other. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a book launch. So why should you buy this book? Is it any good? Why would you part with, it's about £10, isn't it?
Yes.
£10, yeah. Why would you part with your £10 hard-earned cash? Because literature, just like music or art, is always subjective and personal. However, this book that you might hopefully buy tonight is entertaining. It's also very, very enjoyable. And it's on sale here tonight. And the author will sign what is actually a first edition for you tonight if you want. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very proud of Lynn. I'd give you Lynn Steblecki and Prizewinner.
Something Lynn did on her own, which I had nothing to do with, which I was like, where did that come from? She got a video made, like a little film trailer for the book, which is brilliant. I love it. So we're going to play that next.
When freelance fashion photographer Chantel Swanepoel wins a nightclub competition, she discovers it's a date with Stefan Erasmus, a South African swimmer training for the Olympics. One date turns into more, then he finds her on switch. She doesn't know how to turn it off. When Stefan's Olympic hopes are endangered, Chantel is devastated. In an attempt to discover her own desires, she uncovers Stefan's deep secrets. Despite her fears, she remains prepared to risk all, and that risk will determine her fate. Prizewinner, Danger and Passion on Safari, available now.
Wouldn't be out of place, you know, when you go to the cinema, it's like what's coming up next month. Right, so this is the moment you've all been waiting for, the moment Lynn's been waiting for. Lynn loves public speaking, so yeah.
Hello everybody. Thank you so much for giving up your time to support the launch of my novel. When I say my novel, I really can't believe that I've written a novel. It's taken over 3 years from conception to birth. Even elephants don't take that long. But I couldn't have done it without help. Lots of help, as you'll see from the long list of acknowledgements in the book. Even that list is missing those whose contribution has been to encourage me to go on when it seemed that I'd just set my heights too high, my sights too high. Signing up to autobiography and creative writing classes here at the Lymington Community Centre has had a profound effect on my life. Who would have thought that when I walked through those very doors 7 years ago as this low self-esteemed lost lady, Brendan, notice I used the power of 3 there, and alliteration, I wouldn't be standing here as an empowered, published author. Through these classes, I have met fantastic people who have become lifelong friends. My tutor, Brendan McCusker, fellow writers and friends have continually supported and propelled the publishing of my novel Prizewinner. So why did I write it? My hands aren't exactly ideal for touch typing. Okay, as you know, most of you who know me know what my hands are like, but I found thumb typing instead of 2-finger typing, and it worked for me. Because a lot of scleroderma patients have actually gangrene where their fingers have fallen off, so I'm just really grateful and happy I've still got my fingers. Yes, my fingers are ulcerated, painful and curled, but they allowed me to get in touch with my creative side and write this, and that's my book, got the whole pile here. Okay guys, try this. Put up your hands, curl your fingers, and hold that stiffly. And you, Russell. Okay, and then try sort of writing with just your thumbs. Okay, it's fine for an email, but try writing a 60,000 word novel. But above all, there is something, if this is something I could do. I want to be defined as a writer and not as a victim of scleroderma. Some physical consequences are obvious. Because my body produces too much collagen due to the scleroderma, I don't have any laughter lines or crow's feet. So I can keep my age a secret. But above all, there is hope. Professor Peter Butler, a plastic surgeon, leads a team carrying out research on relieving symptoms using stem cell transplant transfers at the Royal Free Hospital. Being part of this program has changed my life. It's changed my mindset from negative when diagnosed to positive now. And I don't mean to be an unrealistic view of the future, but that is it's a better choice that I have. This work is carried out at the Royal Free London Hospital at the Charles Wolfton Centre for Reconstructive Surgery, and I'm privileged to be the ambassador. A few years ago, I gave a speech at Downing Street with Professor Peter Butler, and I'm no less nervous now. But that's why this work needs to continue, and that needs more funding. And I hope my novel sells, not only for self-satisfaction of success, but because of the contribution, a profit of the book to scleroderma research and help benefit fellow scleroderma patients. Right, now the juicy bit. What's my novel about? It's not about illness, disability, or physical struggles. It's about love, passion, and empowerment in all aspects of my life. And I use my own life experiences to write it. Another passion of mine is wildlife conservation, protecting wildlife and endangered species. My novel has given me the opportunity to highlight the appalling rhino and elephant poaching that goes on in Africa. Why prize winner? No matter what adversity you may face in life, if you have the recipe for love, that is the biggest prize of all. If you read my book, you will see for yourself. You're probably wondering why you're all handed a raffle ticket. As you walk through the door, I couldn't launch prize winner without a prize. So my daughter Roxy and I will be drawing the lucky ticket at the end. Once again, thank you for your invaluable support, and to you, the Lymington community, for the success of Prizewinner.
Now, the foreword of Prizewinner was written by actor Simon Callow. He was on BBC Breakfast yesterday morning. I don't know if anyone saw that. But I wasn't up that early either. Who? You did see that? Okay. One of his most famous roles is in a film we've all probably seen about half a dozen times. I'm talking, of course, about 4 Weddings and a Funeral. Just to recap, just got a quick clip here of him at a wedding, strangely enough, but looking rather annoyed at the entertainment in the ceremony.
No, I can't smile without you. Can't smile without you. I can't laugh and I can't sing. I'm finding it hard to do anything. You see, I feel sad when you're sad. I feel sad, feel glad when you're glad. If you only knew what I'm going through. Your love to just one man.
The Castle beckons, I think, Tom. Are you sober?
Absolutely. Orange juice all night. Come on.
If you stop watching at any point, you just have to carry on watching it, don't you? It's a great film. Okay, so to read Simon Callow's foreword, we have a fellow student from Lynn's class, creative writing class. Please welcome Russell Fry.
Simon wrote that the book you have in your hands needs no introduction. Start reading it and you won't stop until the last page. It's a romantic, highly charged story which sweeps you up in the drama of its hero and heroine. It's touching, funny, sexy and erotic, and paints a very alarming picture of South Africa today. All of this you'll see for yourself. So why did Simon write these words? Simple, because Lynn asked him. When he met Lynn for the first time, he discovered pretty quickly that no isn't a word that means very much to her. In fact, when Simon met her in hospital in the famous Charles Wolfson Centre for Reconstructive Surgery at the Royal Free, of which he is of course a patron, everyone said to him, "Oh, you must meet Lynn. What a character." When he finally did, he was baffled as to why she was there. An attractive 30-something? What could have brought her to the hospital? Then he noticed that, yes, perhaps the skin on her face was a little tight. Then he noticed that her hands were a little rigid. Nothing very serious. Little did he know what lay behind these mild symptoms. It transpired that for the last 15 years, she'd been suffering from one of the most alarming, unpleasant medical conditions in existence, scleroderma. An autoimmune, rheumatic and chronic disease that affects the body, hardening the connective tissue. The face of the body becomes increasingly rigid. Your fingers can't move, which is how Lynn first knew there was something wrong. Your face begins to seize up. Your eyes become increasingly difficult to open. You are, in fact, trapped inside your body which is closing down. Horrifying. Being buried alive at frightening speed by your own immune system. No one knows what really causes it. It might be genetic, but it might not. And only recently has it been possible to arrest the symptoms, not cure them, to arrest them. It's a long, slow, exhausting process, both mentally and emotionally. A recipe for despair. The scleroderma hadn't reckoned with Lynn. Lynn, never say no, Steblecki. Once she was told what was going on, once she had a name for her condition, she set out to beat it. Simon realised from the moment they started speaking that this was one feisty dame, fiercely determined. But the miraculous thing was that she saw the funny side of it. How? Had even a tenth of what's happened to Lynn happened to Simon, he would have curled up into a ball, crept away into a corner to die. Not her. She took it on without hesitation and laughed at spooky old scleroderma. And because of that, because of her refusal to give in, because of her determination to laugh in the face of it, she has made astonishing progress. It wasn't long ago that because of the hardening of the tissue of her mouth, she actually couldn't laugh. Her profound optimism, she was having none of it. Her profound optimism, wherever it comes from, has kept her going, and now she laughs like a drain. She even managed to use her thumbs to type again, despite the inflexibility of her fingers. At that first meeting, she told Simon that she was planning to write a novel. He asked her to send it to him, and it was finished, and now she has. He lazily assumed that it would be a story about what had happened to her. Not a bit of it. It's about the search for love, for strength, to believe that one is entitled to love and to be loved. And I think that, in the end, is Lynn's secret. She believes in love, you see, its power and its healing potential. And nothing that has happened to her has dented that belief. It's very, very inspiring and more than a little bit humbling. Simon Callow, CBE, actor, director, writer, London, 1917.
To adapt that, didn't you?
Yes.
Because it was written in the first person,
Yes.
so difficult. Good job, well done.
Thank you.
Okay, so all this talk of Simon Callow, let's actually see him in action. This is actually a 4-minute reading, one section. We've got two videos of Simon Callow. One of the best aspects of this clip that's coming up is that you can hear Lynn laughing, which is, you can't miss it. You did mention laughing like a dream, was it?
Drain.
Drain? A train?
Drain.
A drain?
Yeah.
Well, like a drain that water goes down.
Yeah.
I've never heard that.
Oh, yeah, it's really.
Well, I think we know what, yeah. Laughing like a drain. We're going to hear Lynn laughing like a drain on this video.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the imagination is a wonderful thing. You have to imagine now that I'm 30 years old with long blonde hair and an irresistible hourglass figure, that I'm female as well, and that my name is Chantal, and that I'm South African. So, with apologies to any South Africans in the room, because this is written in the first person, so there's no avoiding it, I'm afraid. So, although it was a hot, dry night, the cool, crisp, white Egyptian sheets cooled my half-naked body. The room was quiet, apart from the gentle whir of the ceiling fan and the annoying buzz of a mosquito. I tossed and turned, constantly checking the time. Finally, I drifted off to sleep. Every cell of my body tingled as he held me tightly, kissing me passionately. His soft lips moved down my neck, and he gently tugged on my tangled hair. His moist mouth glided over. I reached out for Franco. The bed was empty. This was all just a dream. I hate you, Franco. I hate being alone. I hate myself for being such a failure. Hot tears trickled onto my pillow, and in this piteous state, I once again fell asleep. "Don't stop," I hungrily moaned. As I unbuttoned his shirt, I could feel his heart pounding as he pressed his smooth, firm, naked chest against mine. The car windows steamed up. Everything moved faster. His hand slid down the side of the car seat, laying it flat. Neither of us could hold back any longer. Our hormones raged. My legs were trembling as abruptly I woke up to the raucous sound of Hadedas in the early morning. Equally as abruptly, I realized I was alone. It was 5 a.m. Who had I been dreaming of? Franco? Stefan? Stop this, Chantal. I cautioned myself as comparisons between Franco's unfaltering surgeon's hands on my body and Stefan's youthful, strong ones ran amok with my mind and my emotions. I was so confused. Should I even go on this date? Surely I was putting myself in a position to be hurt all over again. The optimistic and more trusting side of me argued back, "You'd be a fool not to take the chance." I must have drifted back to sleep as I woke up at 6 a.m. to the bleep of my cell phone, alerting me I had a text message. After rubbing the sleep from my half-open eyes, I fumbled over to pick up my phone and read, "Morning, Chantal. Hope you're able to make our breakfast date. If so, does 8 a.m. suit you? By the way, I have a surprise for you. Stefan." I was nervous, but curious to find out what the surprise was. An adrenaline rush of possibly seeing Stefan jump-started me into action. After an extra brushing of my teeth and a quick shower, I came to a halt. I had to make a decision whether to go or not and let Stefan know. I answered his text. "I should be able to make 8, but won't be able to stay long." He immediately texted back, "Great, pity you're unable to stay for long. Any chance of twisting your arm? BTW, bring your camera. Meet you at the Michelangelo Hotel." That's where we leave that. That begins the whole relationship between the two of them. As you have concluded, it's a romance. Overlaying the roller coaster romance is excitement and adventure.
So, question, Lynn, how does it feel when you hear your words read out like that?
Amazing. Absolutely a dream come true. You know, he has brought it to life.
Yeah.
Simon Callow has brought my book to life. He really has.
I know. The reason I asked that is because I was at an event in London, and there was I was doing a talk, and I literally just launched that, and there was a voice coach there. He's a cousin of Dame Judi Dench. And he's part of the Royal Shakespeare Company, and he wanted something to read, so I threw that at him, and any page, and he just opened it up and started reading. I was like, and it was incredible to hear something that you'd written read by a professional actor, voice coach, whatever. It was just on a completely different level, isn't it? You can't believe that that's actually what you'd written. Because I was toying with doing an audiobook and doing it myself, because I always like audiobooks from the author, but I thought, no, it would be a waste. It would be, you know. So we never did it in the end because he broke his hip. So, but yeah, when someone reads your own words out like that, it's a privilege, isn't it? It really is. It really is.
Absolutely.
Okay, we've got another clip coming up, but before that, we've got Katrina. Katrina is another member of the class, and I believe what you have done is the rest of the class have collaborated.
Yeah, I pinned it round for comment. Yes. Yes. Hello. And yes, as you say, I'm speaking on behalf of our whole writing class this evening. Now, if I think about Lynn, the first things that come to mind are a great big friendly smile, brightly coloured clothes, beautiful makeup, immaculate hair, and a joyous laugh. The laugh again, yes. The room always brightens when Lynn walks in. Our whole class has enjoyed listening to extracts from Prizewinner, watching the book grow and mature. We've all got to know Lynn over this time, and I can confidently say that we've come to admire her deeply. We all manage to get out of bed, get dressed, struggle through the traffic, find somewhere to park and turn up for class on Thursday mornings. But slowly we've understood what a very big achievement all that is for Lynn. We've seen how difficult even handling a sheet of paper is for her, let alone writing an entire novel. Not only that, she's got it published. We've missed her when she's disappeared to hospital for long periods, and we're all rejoicing in her immense victory now that we are here at the long-awaited book launch. Many people have helped Lynn in this great endeavour. In our class, among others, Leslie collects Lynn and brings her to class, and Russell has helped with the editing of the manuscript. But Lynn has mostly helped herself by her determination and positivity. Not least, she makes her own good luck. Who else at the Winchester Writers' Festival would land up in the lunch queue, standing next to a reporter for Radio Solent, make friends, and get herself an interview just like that? Only Lynn. I hope you all find a copy of Prizewinner in your Christmas stockings this year, or tuck one into somebody else's. Now, we're all looking forward to seeing what Lynn does next.
Thank you, Trina. Enjoyed that. This is the second clip from Simon Callow. This is a 6-minute video, this one.
Now chosen to read the part where Chantal and Stefan confront rhino poachers, but instead I'm going to do a different extract because it's what South Africa is now. Beautiful but dangerous. The relationship between Stefan and Chantal has developed, but Chantal has concerns about Stefan. He carries a gun. Why? We'll see. Our evening went far too quickly at the seafood restaurant. I was getting to know Stefan, who insisted again that he follow me as far as the mall, where he would head home in the opposite direction. I remembered my earlier journey following Adam and felt relieved to be heading towards Fourways again. Reassured that I was nearing my house, I sighed. However, not far from my home, fear gripped me as I stopped, as the robots turned red. A car seemed to come out of nowhere, and my head spun at the sound of screeching brakes. I was briefly blinded by the glaring headlights, then squinted to see if I recognized anyone. Who the hell was this? I didn't know these two dark men in the front seat of a Mazda. The doors opened, and two bulky men waving pistols ran towards my car. I instinctively forced down the auto-lock button. I just made it. One thug pressed his scarred, scowling face up against the window, yelling, "Open the fucking door!" venomously spitting on my window before he tried to force the door open with a crowbar. He gave up and swung the crowbar at my side window. I was showered with glass and put up my hand to protect my face. The second, even bigger man thumped on my windscreen with his large knuckles, waving a gun in his other hand. "Get out, or I'll fucking shoot you!" A black hand grabbed my arm and pulled at me. My dress rode up to my thighs, but I clung on to the steering wheel. I saw him look at my legs and just knew. "Don't get her out, put her in the boot," the second man yelled. My scalp hurt as the first man moved his grip to my hair and tugged, trying to get me to crawl through the broken window. "Get out!" he hissed. His breath was foul, beer and vomit in equal parts. Panicking, I realized there was no escape, but I had to survive this. I remembered the advice from a lecture I once attended on how to survive a carjacking. Don't resist. Learn to surrender your car and not your life, were the words of the lecturer, which had stuck in my head. "Take my car, but please don't shoot me," I yelled, realizing I would have to give up my grip on the steering wheel. I heard the sound of another vehicle approaching and heavily braking to a halt behind their car. I couldn't see. I was dazzled by the bright headlights. It must be the rest of the gang. I was overwhelmed with terror. I feared for my life and struggled to swallow. My legs went numb, feeling utterly helpless. I froze stiff like a marble statue. Having absolutely no respect for life, I knew these thugs would stop at nothing. The driver jumped out and moved towards us. 2 deafening shots were fired. God help me, this is it. I shut my eyes tightly, waiting for the bullet. I heard footsteps crunching on gravel as the thugs scrambled into their car, and with a loud screeching of tortured tires sped off. Chantal! Stefan's voice called. Was I hallucinating? I opened my eyes in disbelief and saw Stefan running towards me, tucking his black pistol into the front of his trousers, and tried to open my locked door. Are you okay? He mouthed. My hands shook as I fumbled to unlock the door. Stefan yanked the door open and swooped me out of my seat. I clung to him, shaking. My legs were numb. I couldn't have walked if I tried. I told them to take my car, I sobbed, gasping for breath. Your life's more important than any car, he said, whilst cradling me in his arms. After a few minutes, he cupped my face in his hands and looked into my eyes. We can't stay here. Do you think you can drive if I follow? I felt reassured by his manly presence. Yes, let's go now. I managed to drive quite well, no scares, and it was good for me to have to get behind the wheel, even if the window was smashed. I stopped at the gates, but had enough. Stefan had pulled in behind me, ran to me, and held me for a moment. Let's get inside. We need to report this. He had the situation under control. He opened the gates. I watched him drive my car into the garage before he went back and parked his Land Rover on the driveway. Stefan ensured the gates were locked. As we approached the front door, the floodlights automatically flicked on as bright as daylight. Once we were safely inside the house with all the doors locked, I quit Stefan. What made you come back? I noticed a suspicious-looking car following you as you turned off. Alarm bells rang. That's when I turned around to check up on you, he explained. Stefan, I can't thank you enough for saving my life, I whispered. What's it with you and carrying a gun? I asked the question which had plagued me for so long. What do you think? Protect myself from bastards like tonight. Anyway, most South Africans do these days. You'd better report the carjacking to the police, he prompted. So there you are, 2 representative extracts from Prizewinner, of which large numbers of copies are sitting on the table there, aching to be bought.
It's an excellent book. I mean, there's a lot of books out there, but even without Simon Callow reading it, that would be gripping, clearly. So one of the final things we've got to do, Roxy, is everyone's got a raffle ticket. I've got 3. They're not mine. So what's the prize, first of all? What's the prize, Roxy?
Bottle of wine and a free book.
South African wine.
Yes. South African wine. Okay.
And a signed copy of my novel.
Okay, the first one is number 12.
Pink, number 12.
It's green. Yeah, they're all green.
Yeah, that's it.
They're all green.
Bottle of wine. Okay. Here you go. No worries. Okay, and the next one for the free book is number 2. Thank you. Another one for your son, maybe. For your daughter.
Maybe a boyfriend.
I was 5 in front of the 2.
Well, thank you guys for coming.
We haven't finished yet, Lynn. There was a video I found which was an example of a bad book launch. I was thumbing and ahhing whether we should play it, but I thought we'll put it at the end, and I showed Manny and I showed Lynn. They said, yeah, let's use it. It's quite fun. Does anyone know the programme Peep Show?
Yes.
Yes. Do you like it? Okay, here's a quick example of a different type of book launch.
Hey, Mark. How's it?
Good. Yeah, great. Few errata.
So Lynn asked me a few weeks ago, just to wrap up now, if 80 copies of the book would be enough here. I think so. I think if you get through 50, you'll have done really well. But please prove me wrong. If you know, maybe buy 4 or 5 copies as Christmas gifts, and if you can't get rid of them, they do come with a money-back guarantee in January. Don't they? She didn't know I was going to say that, but I'm sure she'll honour that. You know, if they're surplus to requirements, just bring them back, and she will give you a 150% of the value back. Yeah. So that wraps it up. The bar's open. Don't go. Hang around. There's some food. This is going to be the Christmas gift that keeps on giving, prize winner. So, Lynn, everyone give a big hand for Lynn.
Well, before we all go, Tim,
Tim, we'd like to just present you with something, just as a thank you from us to
Tim
you.
has been, when it's come to my marketing, look at all this, he's been fantastic. And he's right, when I say, could you do this? Yes, and he does it straight away. I
wouldn't dare say no.
Tim, just a small little
right.
thank you. And Tim's Lymington based, so if any of you require any marketing for anything,
within reason.
Tim's got his details are on the bookmarker, and he's got his details. So I highly recommend, and thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Right. So they don't be signing copies of the book now, so whoever's interested in.
I want to be first. Sorry.